Good Sunday morning, everybody. Welcome into Philly AM Sports with Al. That's me and Mike over there. What's going on, Mike?
What's going on, Al?
There's a lot to talk about, including some breaking news that literally just dropped about, 5 minutes before going on the air. Love doing that, but it's fun. So we're going to jump into that real quick. So Phillies talk, Eagles talk, some Flyers talk today. Sixers, we're not going to talk on that. You can go to hell. That's all I care. Mike's going to have another one of his draft predictions coming up. We're going to see what his mock draft looks like this week and every week until the draft actually occurs, and see how close Mike Lauro can get to being our Howie Roseman. But we're going to talk about all those things. We're going to hit all the comments in a minute, but we got to start with breaking news, Mike, of course. Breaking news is Christopher Sanchez is been extended. Now, we don't know all the details yet. I'm going to be trying to talk, host, work with Mike, and see if I can get some of the information. But as I talked about on my Friday night show with everybody, a lot of these guys are going to be in the comments as we join in here. Christopher Sanchez is one of the best contracts in the world. You know what I mean? An ace pitcher who, up until about 5 minutes ago that we were aware of, he made $2 million last year, $3.5 million this year, $6.5 million next year, $9.5 million in 2028, with two club options for 29 and 30, both 15 and 16 million, making him a free agent in 2031. Well, that all changed accordingly to the Phillies, and as well as John Clark as of 12 minutes ago, that they have agreed to a 6-year contract beginning in 2027. So that means he'll get paid his, what did I say, $3.5 million this year. Yep. He'll get paid his $3.5 million, but after that, it all changed, which extends him till 2033. So we said he'd be done in 2031. It gets pretty much adds 2 years into his contract. I don't know what the club option is. I don't know what all the Phillies did announce it. It is all true. What the numbers are, here we are. Actually, it looks like Matt Gelb just dropped them in. New contract guarantees Christopher Sanchez $107 million through 2032.
Wow.
Including his $3.5 million salary this year. That's how much he's going to get. That's per league sources. So I'm going to try to keep watching Gelb. He's usually pulsed onto the Phillies for like one of the better ones with this kind of stuff. But it's the Phillies have they locked up the guy they should have locked up real easily. I'm sorry. I just like it should have been a no-brainer. What are your thoughts, Mikey?
I love the fact that they got him. I love the fact they got him, and they got him for somewhat cheap. It really, if you take a look at it,
if you break it down, $107 million from 27 to 32, it's not a lot of money if it's even, throughout the whole time.
Right. But I like it. I like to see. I like to see that they got him. And it's going to really kind of, I don't know. I guess it kind of shores up the Phillies. Long-term stuff.
Yeah, listen, they did that pitching-wise. I mean, one of the conversations we were going to have today, which I was going to be a continuation of any of those who were joining me from the other night. Adam, one of the guys, how you doing? Rob, one of the other guys, how we doing? Was going to be, was there anything good, anything that you've seen so far about the Phillies this year in spring, and I guess a little bit in the WBC that has improved or made you feel better? But the one thing that we talked about, I guess, last show was the Jesus Luzardo contract extension. Because one thing is for true that Zach Wheeler, even if he's 100% normal, his contract, 2 more years left this year, next year?
Yeah.
So you got that coming off the books after a couple of years. Aaron Nola is going to be around, so hopefully Aaron Nola can come back to some form for another few more years. We got another 3 years on his contract. And if Andrew Painter, by the way, speaking of Andrew Painter, congratulations to Andrew Painter. Not that he only get named on the opening day roster, he's also the 5th man in the rotation. He's also off the market, ladies. He has he proposed to his wife, so
that's awesome.
According to Shelby Malauf, we both got promoted this week. Being her, Andrew, getting their chance. So a lot of the young Phillies core, and we're going to talk about some other ones in a moment too. But and I know that was kind of going to be your talking point. Give me your feelings on all this.
I like the way these young guys have been playing. They just been like Dante Norris since coming back from the and even on the World Baseball Classic, he's been shining. Raccoons Jr.'s been kind of hitting the ball a little bit. You're starting to see guys. Trying to think of the other De La Cruz, also putting the ball in play. I'm really starting to like what I'm seeing from some of these younger guys. And shout out to Justin Crawford too, because he also made the team.
Yeah, Justin Crawford made the team. I mean, everybody we kind of expected outside of the bullpen. One of those is the Phillies could carry 4 lefties in the pen. Right now they have Alvarado and Banks. Could Kyle Backus or Tim Meza, could they be one of the ones that continue? We'll talk about that a little bit more. I know Lou Trevino went back to AAA as of yesterday. We're going to talk about that more because later today there's going to be a Phillies 2026 season look ahead and all that stuff. Maddie has lined up for around 5 o'clock, so that'll be interesting conversation to have. I'm sure it's going to be sunshine and rainbows, ladies. Sunshine and rainbows. Good morning, Dave. The great. That's great for Sanchez. Don't get me wrong. What's the point of giving him that contract when predicting a strike MLB next season? I don't get it, because you know what? They're not predicting the MLB is closing down forever. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing, Dave. 107 million. Let's do this real quick while we're talking. And listen, I'm a big proponent of you should play your contract, because I always said, if you play bad, are you going to get money back at the end of the year, Mike? Do you think they're going to get money back at the end of the year if they don't play well?
No.
All right. So we said 107 million. That's 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030, 2031, 2032, 2033, right? That's 7 years. You divide that by 7, he's still making 15 million a year. So right. I mean, I'm sure it doesn't come out that even. I'm sure there's a lot more to it. But there's a time you can outplay your contract. And there's not a time that you have to, as an organization, you don't want a guy being completely just dejected. Could you imagine your ace making less money than some of your guys who are playing on the bench? Because he's our ace, for lack of better words, right? I mean, Zach Wheeler, yes, he's our ace, but if Zach Wheeler has a chance of not being as good this year or even any other year for the rest of his career.
Right, exactly. And I'll tell you what, it says something too, because when Topper named his starting 3 for this upcoming series this weekend, it was literally Sanchez, Nolan number 2, and then what's his face number 3, Luzardo number 3. So again, I mean, for me, and you know what, I'm going to kick Matty B into you know what too, because you know what, I was thinking about going to that game on Saturday afternoon, like just to go to the game, and now I got the post game afterwards. I'm like, oh, lovely. Might have to go next Sunday.
But I mean, you have to give the Phillies as an organization, which we will break them a lot, some kudos in this one. I have to. I like it because, listen, I understand contracts are contracts, and I'm a very big proponent of believing that. Like AJ Brown. Let's take the opposite. I'm sure we're going to talk about him a little later, but let's take the opposite. The Eagles had made AJ Brown the biggest, one of the highest paid wide receivers in the NFL at one point, or maybe still at this point, for all I know, right? Guaranteed money. They gave him a bonus. They gave him a nice contract when he got here. They gave him a bump again later when they signed Devontae Smith to appease him, I guess, or make him happy, or all those fun things, whatever you want to throw out there. He's top tier, even with all the not great quarterbacking from Jalen Hurts, even with the mediocre offense that we saw from Kevin Patullo and the problems with the offensive line last year. Since AJ has been an Eagle, he has been top 5 in most wide receiver categories, if not all wide receiver categories, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's been playing up to what his contract should be paying him. He shouldn't be requesting more money. Hell, he shouldn't be requesting wanting to leave. That's a different story. We'll get into that later. But there is a time when you get such a deal on a guy. And like I said, there is going to be guys on this team who don't play that much, who aren't those big pieces, who are making more per year than Christopher Sanchez. I'm going to actually pull it up. I want to know what Amundo Sosa's contract looks like. That'll give me an idea. I mean, I'm not saying he's all right, so here you go. This year, Amundo Sosa's making $4.4 million. And this is his last year. Well, they just signed this year to avoid arbitration. So I think it's his last year of arbitration because he had arbitration last year. Amundo Sosa is making $4.4 million this year, right?
Okay.
That's almost $1 million more than what Christopher Sanchez is making. And no offense to Amundo Sosa. No offense to him at all. But he shouldn't be making more money than Christopher Sanchez. And you got to do right by him. What are your thoughts on this player contract, Mike?
I think it's more. I think this is more a club contract, really. If you kind of look at it, because look at all the club options that are in that.
Listen, I think they went to him and said, "Listen, you need to get paid better. We agree with you. We're not disagreeing with you." And we also know they know in the back of their heads at one point he's going to be like, I don't want to pitch that well, or like, it's going to affect his playing, like because he doesn't feel as like I outplayed my contract and the Phillies aren't taking notice to that. It'd be like Mike, you get a job, come in, you're making a few, $20 an hour, you're doing a phenomenal job, you're doing the job of 3 or 4 people, whatever you want to say, however you want to look at it. And they hire a couple other guys to come in who aren't doing half your job, don't do it in the same category of your job, and they're getting paid more money than you. And you have, you're like, I want to stick around and I want to do this, and your bosses don't want you to do less. So let's give the guy a bonus, right? Let's give the guy a little bump. It's not going to cost us more. I mean, he's still going to get paid way less than he deserves, I'm sure, right?
Right.
That's how I look at it. I mean, I'm giving the Phillies kudos in this regard, because you have to be smart. You have to be smart about things. Like you have to make sure your people are happy to a point. And even if you got him on this ridiculously good contract, but if you got a guy who nobody thought, I don't even know Christopher Sanchez knew that he could be as good as he is, right? Had the confidence in himself to know is he as good as he is to play out his contract like this. And honestly, not just be an ace on his staff, but be an ace on his staff that had a lot of aces already, or guys who could compete to be an ace, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. What are your feelings? I feel like I'm talking too much here.
No, I'm just listening now, and I'm actually I'm doing a little bit of both. I'm actually prepping for later as well. But no, I think with this Sanchez contract too, it also allows the Phillies to be a little more flexible too going forward. Like you're locking them in now, you're getting them at that price, kind of a Howie-esque type move, okay? And I think it's going to be able to help them out later on down the line, So I'm waiting to see, just like you, I'm waiting to see what's going to go forward because, again, they just signed Schwarber to the big contract. Harper's got a big deal, which I think is probably Trey's got the big deal. I actually think Harper, they're going to reconstruct his contract. I really do. I don't
know how you reconstruct it. Listen, I think you can reconstruct almost anybody's contract. I don't see Bryce Harper giving you a contract that it's in baseball. It's a little different. And you just mentioned this earlier, just a moment ago, that Christopher Sanchez idea was a Howie-esque like idea. Get in front of it before it becomes a problem, right? The Phillies don't tend to do that, right? That's why I'm giving them their kudos. Maybe they are having lunch with the guy across the street and picking his brain for some ideas. But also, I think this was a kind of a no-brainer. You got to be watching Christopher Sanchez pitch in the playoffs last year with no Zach Wheeler. John Middleton and Dombrowski are like kind of leaning across to each other, like, we're gonna have to fix this guy's contract. There's no way we're gonna be able to keep this up at the rate we're paying him. Right? Like that's what they're saying to each other.
Right.
But I'm giving them kudos because you're not just getting in front of it like Howie would. Howie gets in front of it, but he makes sure it's good for the team too, not just the player. You want to make the player happy, but if you can do both, that's what makes guys like Howie really good at their job, is where it helps both things. People forget contracts are supposed to help both sides. They're supposed to protect both sides of the contract. In this case, the team and the player. The team gets to lock up a good player for as long as they can, what the contract allows them, gets them to pay them at a rate that they know they can afford going forward. But it also gives the player some guarantee, and they know what they're going to make. But there's times that one side's going to get a great deal, and we've all said it. Like, one of the greatest deals and one of the biggest contract extensions, when I'm not talking about price-wise, but like from a team standpoint, has been Christopher Sanchez. Like the smartest, like dumb luck almost. Like they were able to sign a guy like this who turned into an ace. He'd be an ace on almost at least 25 of the MLB teams, right? So, they did the right thing, and we haven't said that a lot this year, especially about the Phillies and Dombrowski. Most people are trying to chase Dombrowski out of here at one point, and I can get it. He's done some dumb things, and actually, I saw a tweet earlier today or yesterday, or I forget. Dombrowski has made a trade with as while he's been with the Phillies with every MLB team except for the Nationals. At this point, he has made some sort of trade deal with every team Major League Baseball. I think they just signed somebody, some infielder to some probably gonna be a AAA or something.
Yeah.
And after he did that made, except for the Washington Nationals, the only team he hasn't made any deals with to this point. But there's a couple comments coming here. I love the fact Painter made the team. He's got great stuff so far. Yeah. Here's the thing is, I talked about this the other night, Joe. I think we talked about this together. It's one of the biggest problems, especially in baseball and with the Phillies, because I know Mikey P, who's got comments coming up here too. He was on with me on Friday. I love Mike Papernick too. Brings some great juice when he talks as well. But the one problem is we hear the term untouchable, right? You go back to the Dom Brown. Everybody always throws Dom Brown in there, Mike. He was untouchable.
No, that guy had the best 2-year span of any major leaguer I've
2
ever
years.
seen.
Mike, I think it was like May,
2 years.
July.
2 years. 2 years. It was all the hype leading up for him coming up. Then he got up, and then he finally he was an all-star. If you remember, he was an all-star.
Dom Brown was 2 months. That's what I'm saying. It was only 2 months. Dom Brown was living off his name for 2 months because he was one of those guys who's nobody believed the Dom Brown hype like Dom Brown did. Like that was the problem. And he did an interview years ago in WIP. He does like some baseball training somewhere in Pennsylvania. He's not that far from here, maybe a couple hours at most from the Delco, Philadelphia area. And he was on there and he was being very candid about, man, I believe my hype. I smelled myself big time. Blah, blah, blah. I let that get ahead of me. I ruined my career. Like he all but said, I ruined my career, by doing that. But I think, and it's still, Joe, it's still early to say, but so far, one of the biggest things in baseball, especially with the Phillies, because it takes forever for guys to come up. And we're going to talk about one guy I would love to talk about coming up way sooner than later, Mr. Dante Nori. That's a big one, I think.
You just want the jersey. You just want the jersy. Just
that's a no, right?
It's an Italian,
Hey, Aaron Nola, Team Italy. Let's not get carried away. But I always said is if I could throw a baseball hard enough or swing it back enough, I could have played for Team Italy. But with that being said, it's about getting your patience rewarded, right? We talk about the process all the time, how that was a giant bust, and it continues to be a giant bust. And no matter what we do, no matter what way you twist, it was a bust. I don't care what you say at this point. Even if they win next year, it's a bust.
Cheap tickets. I missed those. I missed $9 6-year games.
Still costs you like $45 to park down there, though. It's like at that point, what's the point?
That's why you take the train in, buddy. Take the train. It's
you're not going to even watch the people that you want to play because they're all injured anyway. So again,
or a scheduled day off, I don't know how many times we went down for during the process years. We went down for the Sixers, Lakers, because you got a chance to see LeBron play, and it'd be a scheduled night off.
Jesus, you're not wrong.
Oh man!
But the one thing I'm trying to say is that we were told to be patient during that era, right? Be patient and be worth it, right? Well, it hasn't been worth it.
No, it hasn't.
But with Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford, again, can't really say our patience has been rewarded, but so far it looks like it's trending in the right direction. I think that's the key thing here with the Andrew Painter love. He looks like he's got his stuff. He's young. What's he, 22 years old? I mean, I don't know. He might go down south if he's getting married, dude. When you start for a wedding, what did Mickey say? Women make you weak in the knees. Be careful with that one.
Yeah.
But I'm kidding around with that. But congratulations to them. But yeah, so far we're starting to see the fruits of our patience and the labor of these guys, and especially guy. And I don't want to sound like saying this is the good thing or a bad thing, like having Tommy John surgery, Mike. I love the fact that we both have DC superhero characters on our T-shirts this morning.
Yes.
This was not planned out, by the way, guys.
No, it was not. It was not.
This was not planned out. We were just two big nerds. It's okay. But my thing is like you need to have some sort of reward. And so far, the patience is being rewarded. And this looks like the right step in the right. And we're going to talk a lot more about this later today, guys. So if you haven't had enough, 5:00 today, we're going to have a Phillies season look ahead with Mr. Sunshine and Rainbows, Matty B.
Yes, he will be in all his glory later on today. So actually, you get to see all the members of It's a Wrap crew besides our Pittsburgh counterparts on today. So you get myself and Al now, then all three of us come together, and then Matty B finishes you off and back at his new time, or his new old time of 10:00 tonight. So he gets.
So Matty B's going to be back at 10:00 because of with baseball season coming, and next Friday will be my last Friday Frenzy, Philly Friday Frenzy, where it stands alone. It'll be a post-game show / Philly Friday Frenzy at whenever the baseball game ends, starting the following week, because there is no Friday home opener game because of the weather issues or whatever. Joe Howe is predicting Sanchez wins the Cy Young.
That could be possible. I mean, he finished runner-up last year.
Do you know how guys, when they sign contracts, do we see a dip?
No.
Coming out of the gates?
No. I think he's focused, ready to go. I really like this Phillies team this year. I really do. And I think that, they kind of put in a fail-safe too, adding Don Mattingly to the bench in case if it doesn't get off or they need to change the message throughout the season, they can change the message and hire. And Don Mattingly's right there to go and take over this team. Once they made that kind of a signing, to me, that kind of told me that Topper's kind of on a short leash. Even it doesn't. I don't care how much the players love him. It's all about results, and I think that possibly could be the best signing that the Phillies have done all year. Really, it's brought Mattingly over, to be their bench coach.
I'm going to go back to something you just said, Mike. You said a very Howie-esque
move.
Why? Here's another one, right? Like, there's another one. Like, what did they do? They brought in Sean Mannion, right? A guy who's never caught a play in the NFL. Who's supposed to be the big young guru coming out of the woodwork here. And why, but we all know what it's been like when a guy who's never caught offensive plays in the league with the Nick Sirianni at the helm doesn't always tend to work out very well. Right. So what did they do? They doubled down. They go get Josh Grizzard, right? Josh Grizzard, not a lot of experience, but at least a year of experience under his belt, and it's kind of a double win for them. If Sean Mannion gets in over his head, he's there to help them out, right?
And don't forget, what's the guy's name? Johnson from the Texans, the quarterback's coach too.
The quarterback's coach. He also, yeah, you're right. I forgot about that one.
So he also worked closely with C.J. Stroud in kind of helping his development. But he also was, I believe, the run game coordinator there with the Texans as well. So again, I see what you're saying as we transition kind of over to that. But Sidney Brown getting moved.
Mm-hmm.
What I feel like that was a salary dump for something bigger. I actually have a proposed trade in mind post June 1st. But let's knock out these Phillies questions real quick.
Yeah.
And then we can kind of
so
touch
here you
on
go. Mikey P saying Jesus Lazaro getting 5 years, $135 million and making more money than Sanchez, which is to me is a joke. No, listen, I think they both need to be making good money. Christopher Sanchez and you always say like guys kind of bet on themselves, take like a 1-year contract somewhere, bet on themselves. They signed a contract. Even Christopher Sanchez didn't know what Christopher Sanchez had. Even his agent didn't know what Christopher Sanchez had apparently, and they signed on. Like the Phillies got him. So I don't sit there and say that's a joke. I mean, listen, they both deserve money.
And listen, Luzardo was on a prove it deal last year. Like, let's be honest there. He had a 2 years left remaining, but last year was his audition year for this Phillies team. So I'm kind of glad that they got both of those left-handers because guess what? Look at the situation. Ranger leaves and goes to Boston, signs that big contract. They don't even know if he's going to be ready for the opening of the season right now. Again, he's having back issues again. So it's looking more and more like the Phillies were right for kind of letting him walk away on this one. And let's give Dombrowski a little bit of credit too. All we heard before this man got here was if you have a farm system, he's going to raid through it. He's going to get rid of it for aging players. You'll get to a World Series, but you will have no farm system left. Dombrowski has really, really not cleaned up the coverage in the Philly system.
No, and the fact is we're starting to see some young guys, between the spring breakout game yesterday, some of the WBC guys who got a chance in other countries. We are starting to see guys who are making us be hopeful to the future, and kind of reminiscing like a team from the 2027, 2028 era when it was a lot of really good homegrown guys. Noom's here is saying Dom fooled people and thinking he could hit a breaking ball. He fooled a lot of people, but I can honestly say I'm on the record. I got the receipts for this one. So I was saying trade Dom Brown when we had the chance. We didn't. So Jesus Lazardo's 5 years, $135 million at $27 million a year. Sanchez 4 years, $107 million extension at $26 million a year. No, it's not 4 years. It's longer than that, technically, Mike. So his contract currently runs him through all the way to 2030. It adds 2 years to it. So the new contract starts next year. He's still getting paid his $3.5 million this year. His contract starts next year, which gives him club options all the way through 2032. Doesn't make him a free agent again until 2033, which is pretty crazy talking about 2033. Because let's throw this in honesty. That is 7 years from now. And 7 years from now, I'll be 50. So I don't even want to think about that. But hey, there we are today.
Shut up. I'll be 50 in like 3 months.
I had
literally tomorrow. Tomorrow, 3 months from tomorrow, I turned 50. And right away, here we go. With the old man passing.
Don't worry, I got the Depends ready for your birthday present, my friend.
Yeah, so's my wife.
Yeah, that's all right. My wife turned 50 she turned 51 in March, so she turned 50 last year. And I get it. Batman Al, Superman Mike. It's kind of like that, the dynamic duo of sports talk right here.
I just think it's funny. Like we really didn't plan this out. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh man, Bat's got his thing.
And we're both wearing Phillies hats, but if you want to throw that out too. But
yeah, I'm wearing the old school. This is from '87. They did this logo in '87 for the
that was great logos.
For the Constitution, believe it or not.
Yep. They're going to bring that one back. And what's the two? What were the two people? The girl.
Phil and Phyllis. They're bringing them back too. Yeah, I know.
They're actually. We talked about it the other night. They have the new ice cream helmets. I think they're supposed to add that one to the helmets. Yeah. Painter wouldn't be the first pitcher not to trust with an arm after Tommy John. What I was saying about that earlier, I don't know if I finished my sentence, but I said the one good thing about him is having at 21 years old, you can bounce back from that and he could heal almost completely. Versus a guy who has it at 27, 28, 29, 30 years old. Your healing factor from 6 or 7 years difference is completely and utterly different. Rob said, I don't know. Maybe hold on. Here it is. I said the Phillies weren't going to win 90 games, but now I changed my mind. I might win 96. He went from a below 90, so at least 7 more wins. All right. Rob, I'll give you a chance. You can answer why you feel that way. Legacy loser Yankees energy. I would be like the Flyers bringing TK in the coach in 20 years.
Well, bank on it. You know that's happening.
Well, he'll probably be the GM in 20 years, Nooms. What are you talking about?
Coach.
We're
talking about Sidney Brown.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. I'm just want to answer the rest of these questions because they're coming in hot and heavy. Sanchez is a better pitcher than Luzardo, just doing the eye test. I'm not disagreeing with that. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. Sanchez also an ace on staff, not any staff, not Luzardo. I'm not disagreeing with that. Hey, Fuge, what's going on? Happy Sunday.
Fuge!
What's going on? Fuji Flair, what's going on?
Yo, if you listen, you got to go to a game, dude, with Fuji. I had the honor and distinction of going a couple years ago to opening day with Fuji, and I'll tell you what, he is the man around town, dude. Let me tell you.
Fuji had a throwdown, I always say.
Yes.
We all knew the Phillies didn't sign Ranger to a long contract. What was because of his injuries? It wasn't just because of that. I mean, they already signed one guy who was a little. He was going to bring him late into his years. You also have Aaron Nola on a kind of the same kind of contract who's going to bring him later into his career. And yes, he had oft injured. You can't have a guy like that. Like, I think they knew we have to. Jesus Luzardo was our guy. We have to worry about. And let me ask you a question. I love Ranger. Ranger has great energy and all that stuff. But if you had to sign a guy for a long-term contract, who would you rather have, Jesus Luzardo or Ranger at this point?
I would rather have Luzardo. One, he's younger. Two, he's not as playoff battled as Ranger, and I think that's why whatchamacallit, Boston signed him. I want to comment on this.
Go ahead.
I actually met Don Carmen and Shane Raleigh as a kid. The Phillies used to have this thing called the Fan Clan Club. That's what they called it. And
Fan Clan Club?
Yes. So at the end of the year, you would be able to go down onto the field. And they would do it in like September. They would have like a Saturday night game, and at like 4 o'clock, you could go down, and they had the vet roped off, and all the players would come down, and they would take pictures with you. They would sign autographs. So I actually got a chance to meet both of those guys when I was a kid. Don Carmen was really cool. Really, really cool. He was one of my favorite Phillies growing up, and Shane Raleigh also. But, looking at like some of these people too, I got to get into the narrative of, of people predicting the Phillies not to win this division. And I the reason why I say I can't see them not winning this division is because you're getting a mixed bag of nuts with Atlanta. You don't know how they're going to respond. Okay. They did lose Ozuna in the middle of that lineup. Okay. And the Mets, they have too many new pieces that got to mesh. And you got to see how that's going to mesh out. You know what I mean? Are they getting the same Freddie Peralta that was in Milwaukee? There's a big difference between pitching in Milwaukee and pitching on the East Coast. Okay. There's been many a great pitcher that can't pitch up in New York. Okay. Sonny Gray's one of them. Sonny Gray, you take him, he was on the Yankees, couldn't pitch to save his life. You put him everywhere else, dude, the guy's dominant. So you really have to wait and see what they're going to be. And to be honest with you, I love the back end of this Phillies bullpen. This Phillies bullpen is a lot better this year than it was going into a year ago. And I think the Phillies can really, really, I think they can win this division. Okay, I actually have them winning the division, but it's a kind of a little precursor there to what we're going to be talking about later. But, for them, like, for people just to automatically think, oh, they're going to drop. How are they going to drop? They won 96 games last year. And I feel like the one thing that was kind of boggling them was kind of the back end of their bullpen. Like, their middle relief guys were kind of getting hit around. They kind of cleared that up. Okay, now, granted, they got to play a lot better small ball. They can't be bashing and booming for 162 games because that's not going to work. So, again, they may have to change their philosophy. When you add a guy like Crawford into your lineup who's going to be able to get your lineup over, okay, or he's going to be getting on base, it kind of really helps you set the top of that lineup going forward. So I just think the new nucleus, the new nucleus coming in, the future nucleus, I should say, of our Phillies team, I think is going to be really, really good. I think they're going to be okay. I really am. And
we'll be talking a lot about that later today too.
Yes.
Just Phillies did post a couple things, some minor moves, but some ideas. So because somebody did ask a little earlier, what do you think this lineup's going to look like? What do you think this team's going to wrap up out to be to start the 2026 season? So the Phillies just posted about 5 minutes ago. Left-handed pitcher Tim Meza and outfielder Dylan Moore requested and received their release yesterday. Today, they were both signed to major league contracts. Additionally, yesterday, the Phillies returned right-handed pitcher Zach McCambley to the Miami Marlins. But also at the same time, prior to today's game, the Phillies optioned right-handed pitcher Chase Shugart to Lehigh Valley AAA, so he went to the Iron Pigs. They reassigned them to major league camps, both Christian Cairo, which I think was the guy they just signed the other day, Paguro, I don't really know him. Brian De La Cruz was probably one of the bigger names we were all kind of really keeping our eye on. And Jonathan Hernandez and Lou Trevino all were reassigned to major league or minor league camp. So there is.
I didn't think De La Cruz was going to make. I didn't think he was going to make the team this year.
No, but I like him.
I like him too. I think he could be a September call up though. I really do. I think he can kind of help them out down the stretch. Al, we got to switch gears, buddy. We got a football team here we got to talk about, man.
Oh, we have football in this town?
Yes. All right, man. Listen, we had some signings over the past week since we last talked. Yeah, Nooms, I'm right there with you. Me and Matty B been going round and round with this. I'm calling it. Yeah, they're making the postseason.
I think there's a lot of positive if they get a little off-season or postseason love.
Yes, I think they're going to get some. I think they'll get in. Now, it all depends on who they play. But winning 7 in a row on the road, that's saying something. And this is the second time ever in franchise history they just swept out the West Coast teams. Second time they did that. So, anyway, Eagles.
So here you go, real quick. I'm gonna run through some of the changes that they had since there, and then you give me your thoughts and opinions on that. All right?
You got it.
All right, I'll give you the one. First one. This kind of goes with the Tanner McKee conversation. Andy Dalton, the Red Rifles, now a Philadelphia Eagle. Who would have thought that?
Yes.
They traded to the Panthers a 2027 seventh round pick for Andy Dalton. Red Rifles of the Eagle. I'm guessing number 2 at this point.
Oh, most definitely. And here's I have a trade proposal in there. It's going to be post June 1st. Okay. There's a certain receiver in Minnesota that wants out. His name is Justin Jefferson.
Go ahead. Justin, I'm listening.
You take your third. I would send them a third and a fourth for this year's draft. A third and a 3 and a 4. Okay. And possibly I would take even that number 1 that you're going to get from New England and send it over to send that number 1 draft pick over to Minnesota for Justin Jefferson. You bring them in. Now you got Jefferson, Schmitty, Hollywood Brown as your 3 wide receivers. And you mean Justin Jefferson is going to be, I think that could get that deal done. And it's only costed.
I was rolling my eyes at you at the beginning of that because you kind of should have led with this is all predicated on the A.J. Brown being traded.
Well, yes, I'm sorry. But
they're going a third and a fourth. Like A.J. Brown, they're trying to get a first and a second. Right. You're out of your gourd.
No, but listen, I'm sorry. My coffee hasn't kicked in yet. This is predicated on them getting a first and third from New England. If they get that first and third, you throw in a 4th round pick, ship that to Minnesota, you will get Justin Jefferson. Now, you're getting just as good, if not better, receiver to go on the outside to play with Devontae Smith.
And you're going to have to sign. Don't worry. Don't forget.
Hey, look, listen. The cap's going up, right? Sign them. Like, this is a young wide receiver core. They're going to go from being – you thought people were scared of this wide receiver core before going in. They were one of the best two duos. Now you replace A.J. Brown with Justin Jefferson, and it also gives Howie a mulligan because now he actually goes and gets the guy he should have drafted in the beginning anyway.
Well, so right now –
and it only costs you a 4th-round pick.
Yeah, he already has his. He already got it. But his average AAV is $35 million.
That's okay.
Yeah. So this year, because this is the problem. This is why they probably willing to trade him at this point because they're going nowhere, and right now, his AAV he would have to get restructured. They probably would have to sign him to an extension. I don't know how old is Justin Jefferson at this point, but right now
26 maybe.
Yeah. So he made last year he made $15 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
This year he's going to make $38.9 million. Next year will be $43.4 million, and in 2028 $47.4 million. So there would be a huge restructuring. Of that.
You know what? You add another 2 years on to his contract. Okay, give him a big, huge signing bonus. Give him most of his money up front. Play it out the final, whatever. Have the 2 dummy years. And now you're rolling with Justin Jefferson, Devontae Smith, and, you got Hollywood Brown for this year until they go out. And then, like I said, it's costing you. The only thing it's going to cost you is a 4th-round draft pick. Think about that for a second.
It's like if you traded them A.J. Brown, could you trade him A.J. Brown? And, like, if it was simpler, you would trade him A.J. Brown and another 4th-round pick. Pretty much how you're putting it.
Well, you could say that, but again, it's a lot.
It would have to be a workaround. No, I know, but essentially that's what you're doing is what I'm saying.
I'm just saying, like, I'm just throwing that trade out there because I feel like it could be a very, very good deal for the Eagles to go and try and get Al. It looks like you're drinking a cloud, buddy. Al's so good. Look, he drinks from the clouds. He's a god. He really is. But I'm serious. Like I was sitting back and I was thinking about that yesterday. I'm like, Justin, and he's already made it known he wants out of Minnesota. So it's kind of already out of the bag anyway. Like they're not going to get multiple picks for him. You're not going to get multiple first rounds. So again, unless somebody turns around and says, hey, I'm going to give you a multiple first round pick, all you're doing is trading what you got for A.J. Brown and you're throwing in a 4th-round pick. Or you could take one of your compensatory picks from this year, one of your 3rd-round picks, and say, look, I'll give you my one compensatory pick late in the 3rd round. Take it or leave it.
This is where I will push back, I guess. And I'm going to have to agree with Michael Papernick on this one. There's no way that Justin Jefferson you're going to need more than a 3rd and a 4th and a 1st to get to him. I think you're going to need if Waddle got what he got, I just, and if you're gonna, if
Waddle got, every case is different. Like everybody's jumping on. Oh well, they got this for Waddle. Well, guess what? Denver was stupid to offer that, and Miami just took it. So no, if it was more, A.J. Brown's a better wide receiver than Jalen Waddle. So if Waddle got that, if you're going off of what you're saying, that means A.J. Brown should be 2 first-round picks. Like I'm sorry, if they got what they wanted for that package that Denver got, you don't think A.J. Brown's worth more than that? Like he's a hell of a lot better than Jalen Waddle. Hell of a lot better. So no, I don't. That's why I say every situation's different. You're going to get a 1 and a 3. Like I said, if you throw a 4th pick in, you're still giving them possibly a top. They're getting 3 picks within the top 20. Or top 25 or whatever. I
just don't listen. I don't think it'd be as easy as you put it out there. It would be that would be Howie Roseman's they would be throwing him a parade before any other game is played if he could pull off exactly the way you said it, because they are going, if they sell Justin Jefferson, they're going to put a giant for sale sign right on his forehead, and there is going to be suitors upon suitors trying to grab him. So it would be real difficult for them.
Yeah, but he's got a no trade clause. He has a no trade clause in his contract. So he can pick and choose where he wants to go. So Just remember that when he signed his deal, he had a no trade clause. So
Well, if
he's got to
Justin
wait.
Jefferson is available, what would stop the Pats from going after Jefferson, who is not a problem like Brown? Good point.
That's why you stick. You listen. Obviously, they want AJ Brown. Why, if he's available, what would stop the Pats from going to get him? He has no history with the head coach. AJ Brown's got history with Vrabel. That's why they want him. And they need another target for Drake May because they let Stephon Diggs walk out the building. So, yeah, they need a number one. They can. But like I said, this is a trade that I sat back and I turned around. All I'm saying is this. They can definitely go and get – I think that can get it done to get Justin Jefferson out. And it would only cost the Eagles a fourth-round pick. I think if they throw a fourth round in with that 1 and 3, they're good.
The only thing that negotiations have in this case is that he is due to make $40 million or more in the next couple of years. That's the only thing that plays into the factor of the negotiation at this point. No, but on top of it, he's also, like Mike says here in a moment, with premier wide receiver in the NFL. It's good, and he's younger than AJ Brown and less of a headache than AJ Brown would be. It would be really hard for me to believe that the Eagles are going to be able to get a first-round pick plus another pick, take those 2 picks plus another one of our 2 picks, and send them out. That would be the most wildest yet greatest 3-team trade in NFL history in my eyes. Like Rob's saying he listened to Matty B this week. I'm sorry to hear that. That's number one. Number 2, he said I hated when he called you guys homers. Rob,
he calls us homers all the time. So.
Let me tell you something. Let it happen. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Number one, I kind of pointed this out on Friday night. I think Matty B walks up and down the streets going, Homer, 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 just pointing at everybody going, Homer, you're a Homer, you're a Homer. I think he'll be on his deathbed, and his last words will be, Homer.
Yeah,
tell them that they're all homers. That's what it's going to be like.
Again, I'm going to use the Jalen Waddle thing with this whole AJ Brown trade scenario that I just brought up. Okay, if you think that the Eagles can't get him for that, I'm sorry, you're mistaken. Look at the wide receiver market. Okay, look what they're asking for. Like you said, Denver just kind of ponied up with Waddle. Okay, it all depends on what the Eagles get back. If the Eagles get a first, a third, or a fourth, or whatever, like I said, whatever they get from New England is what they should turn around and they take that. And if they got to sweeten the deal and throw a pick in without it being a 1 or a 2, because I'm cool with it, even with a third-round pick. Take those picks and offer it to Minnesota. You know what I mean? So,
Shaq Collins here saying, I'm ready for the A.J. Brown saga to be over.
Everybody is.
Me and Mike and everybody else. Even to the point, and there's a little news out there today about it. I wasn't going to really get into it too hard, but of course, Emmanuel Acho and their show, the Speakeasy, whatever it's called, or something like that, they brought it up again. AJ Brown in the live chat came in and pretty much said, shut up, guys. I'm tired of hearing about it. Like, I think actually I pulled a tweet here. Maybe I didn't. Hold on. Let me see. Yep, here you go. At the tweet, the message he put in on the live stream. It's kind of hard to see. Let me remove the comment for a second. Hey man, talk about someone else. I rock with y'all, but let it rest, fam. And he has like the head slapping emoji. And it is confirmed to be him. I know people are like, oh, it wasn't him. I'm like, nah, it was his account. It was verified and all that. So even he's over it as much as we are. He didn't say, but at the same time, I'm going to throw this back at AJ's face a little bit. Mike, he could have simply just came out, Mr. Twitter, Mr. social media, Mr. whatever.
And said, I'm good.
Guys, right. I don't want to get traded. He could have said that. Like, I don't want to get traded. I'm happy in Philly.
Well,
if he wants it to be done, go right ahead.
Say that. He can't say that because literally in the playoff game, you see him yelling at Nick Sirianni. And literally, he said, effing trade me then.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he pretty much told his coach to get rid of him.
If he wanted to stay, he could have said, listen, it was the heat of the moment. Things happen the way they happen. I dropped the ball. I was being, emotional, which is fair in that situation. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to win another Super Bowl with his team. He could have said a million other things, but he said nothing. The first thing he says is, listen, and ain't nobody more annoyed by Emmanuel Acho than I am on a daily basis, outside of Scam Newton. And let me just throw this out there. LaShawn McCoy, is he just buying? Is he going to the same school of broadcasting that those guys did? Like former athlete. Like here's my thing is, I think a lot of these former athletes start these podcasts off their name, which is fine, and I understand that to a point. I don't like it, but hey, if I had the opportunity to do so, I would have done the same thing myself. Right. But I think that starts to dwindle after a while, and they all have to start reaching in the same bag as about becoming polarizing people, and they all fall into the same category in my eyes. And I like LaShawn McCoy. I got a bunch of signed merch. You've seen all the signed stuff I have in my basement that I have with LaShawn. I have a football. I got a helmet. I got all this stuff. It's starting to kind of depress me a little bit that he's becoming another Emmanuel Acho or Scam Newton.
Well, he's not as bad. I mean, he's bad. He's bad. Listen, as an Eagles fan, though, I will say this: I am kind of a little nauseated with him with his Eagle homertism, because sometimes the proof is right there in front of you, and you, as an Eagles fan, you got to swallow it. And like sometimes I feel like he don't, but that could, like I said, he also is a guy who was in that game. You know what I mean? So that's why I kind of give him a pass on because he played the game. You know what I mean? He played at the highest level, and he was one of the good ones at the highest level. So again, you kind of gotta roll with it. I mean, his takes are his takes, but I mean, listening to them guys talk. The dude that's the DJ that's on that show, like he's the only one that I really don't. He's the only one I don't pay attention to because he's a Cowboys homer, and I just don't pay him no mind. Like, he tries,
Homer.
He tries everything. He talks about Dak, and I'm like, dude, Dak can't get out of the second round of the playoffs. Until he gets out of the second round of the playoffs, I don't want to hear from no Cowboys fan. Like, we've been to 2 Super Bowls, won 1, and we've won 3 we won 2 in the last 7-8 years. So, right now, they're right there, and the Eagles have been relevant. They've made the playoffs the last 6 years. You know what I mean? So, like, to me, I don't see that.
Yeah, Mike Patterson. If Minnesota trades Jefferson, top 5 receiver in the NFL, for what you're saying, Mike, that Vikings GM needs to be fired. Well, they've already made a lot of dumb decisions as it is. I think Mike's kind of banking a little bit on another dumb decision. Am I wrong?
Dude, they just picked up Kyler Murray. They just re-signed Carson Wentz. Okay, tell me that this guy's not. They're not trying to win. And you mean to tell me you're going to shake off a first and a third, or a first and 2/3 for Justin Jefferson? Like, come on, dude, you're not getting 2 first-round picks for him. I don't care that it's Justin Jefferson. You're not going to get it.
I think you're first and second, maybe.
Okay. Listen, I can agree to that.
Let's see what A.J. Brown gets, because let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
Should A.J. Brown get more, the same, or less than Justin Jefferson should get in return?
No, he should get less.
He should get less.
Because
if AJ Brown, if New England makes a deal for AJ Brown and they give him a first and a fourth.
Well, what I'm hearing right now is the deal's pretty much going to be done as of June 2nd. June 2nd. June 2nd is going to get done, and it's for a first and a third. So if it's a first and a third,
which Justin Jefferson got?
I think Justin Jefferson, you could probably get probably a first and a second. They're not getting 2 first-round picks.
Well, and also, here's the problem is if it is post June 2nd, as you're saying, you're going to have to trade 2027. You can't trade, unless they're going to trade their 2027 first-round pick, which in my eyes is going to be a high pick most likely if everything trends the same way as it is.
Exactly. I mean, trust me, there's some kids that are coming out, too, that, even if you don't, I'm just throwing that out there hypothetically, that probably could get that deal done. Like, you're looking at it. Denver completely overpaid for Jalen Waddle. And you know what? Good for Miami for taking him to the cleaners. But nobody else is, like you already saw, Max Crosby is a a prime defensive end. That thing got reneged because of his quote-unquote, physical, but Baltimore was ready to give up 2 first rounds for him. And that was a struggle in those that's why they went back out. That's why they pulled out of that deal. That's why they said, oh, there was issues with his rehab, or they didn't like what they were saying. They pulled out because they got Trey Hendrickson and got to keep their first, there's the 2 first-round picks because they don't want to give them up. Justin Jefferson is good. I'm not saying he's not. He's a top 5 wide receiver. Do I think A.J. Brown's a top 10 wide receiver? Yes. A.J. Brown is a top 10 wide receiver. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's not that far ahead of A.J. Brown, and I will say that. I think Justin Jefferson's better, but he's not that far ahead. And to me, that if you can get that deal done, I think it'll greatly improve the Eagles. Now, granted, the Eagles will have to move some money around, but what does Howie do best? He front loads everything in his signing bonus. When he gets too high, he gets cut or traded.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, it was just throwing it out there. I'm not saying that the Eagles are going to do this. Just threw it out as a hypothetical. I think if you do a first and a third and you throw another mid-round pick in there, what I mean is a 4th or maybe even a 3rd, it could get it done. If you throw in 2 3s, you know what I mean? You're still getting 3 picks within the top 100. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to turn that down. Like, there's no way they can do that.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong, but I'm going to push back on Nooms on this one a little bit. He says, sorry, if it didn't work with Vrabel the first time, putting sour milk back in the fridge, expecting it to be better in a month.
No.
I think the fridge was the problem, not the milk in this case. If you know what I mean?
The GM was stupid down there.
Organization or whatever you want to call it at that point. That to me was the big issue there. I mean, Vrabel showed that he went to New England and he's had success so far with a relatively unknown guy in Drake May. He had some good pieces, but definitely needs offensive line work and some offensive weapons. I'm going to push back on that one a little bit. And I disagree. I mean, and actually, Mikey Peace, the next comment I'm going to put up here is one I want to talk about too, because I can see this happening. They would be crazy enough to do it. The Rams were interested in the Brown. The Rams have 2 first-round picks. I would not be surprised if Jefferson to the Rams. It could happen. That would be gross. Puka, Jefferson. Who's the other guy? Devontae Adams.
Yeah, but he'd be gone. They would trade him.
Shaq saying Devontae Smith will go ballistic this year. Listen, I think if Devontae Smith had a chance to kind of be a number 1, he could be a number 1. Like, I think that's the thing that's kind of forgotten about this situation. Like, he's a number 1 in my eyes. Like, he's the mentality. He can play like it. No. Is he as big as A.J. Brown? No. But he plays as big or bigger. He won't, for the most part, the man doesn't drop many balls. I think Devontae Smith just flies on the radar because he's that kind of guy. Like, he's not going to complain if he doesn't get the ball for three games in a row. He's not going to be reading a book on the sideline and making it about him. He's not that kind of guy. But the man wins. That's all he knows how to do is win. He won the Heisman. He wins the national championship. I know he won in high school too. He's been to Super Bowls. He's won a Super Bowl. He was a big part of that win. He continues to be a big part. The man wins, but because he isn't a polarizing character like A.J. Brown or anybody like that, he's kind of forgotten about. And that's the other thing. I'm on with Shaq here. Give the chance, give the guy a chance to even to cook in my eyes.
Here's the thing. I'm looking up at this Waddle deal. Miami sent Waddle and a 4th-round pick back to the Broncos, right? Denver. Miami received a 1st, a 3rd, and a 4th. So basically, what I just said for A.J. Brown to go get Justin Jefferson, like I said, you might have to take
lower. I think Waddle's even lower on that tier.
Right. So what I'm saying is
A.J. Brown and then Waddle in my eyes. So that means if you got that, then A.J. Brown might get the same kind of bag almost. So
I think Waddle. I think he's better than Waddle. I mean, if they got this for Waddle, then you might be able to get a 1st, a 3rd, a 4th back for him, and then maybe you add in a 2nd. Take these picks because these picks ain't yours. Take those picks, send them over, and you throw in one of your own picks. You throw in one of your own picks, dude. That's it. If it's got to be a 3rd rounder, let them throw it in. You know what I mean? Like if you're giving them they're going to get a 1st, 2 3rds, and a 4th for Jefferson. You mean to tell me Minnesota's not going to do that? You're out your mind. They'll do it in a heartbeat. They got so many holes right now. They need draft capital. You're sending over, and it's only going to cost you an extra third round pick. Even if you want, you can tell them throw in your compensatory pick.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a third round pick. Now you're getting 2 third round picks. You're getting a 4th round pick and a 1st round. You mean to tell me they're not going to do that? But I don't see 2 first round picks here. You know what I mean? And for the Rams to try to go and get him, they're going to have to unload a lot. And the Rams don't have no draft capital. They have 2 first round picks, I think, this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, oh, wait a minute, no. They do have their full slate of picks. It was last year they didn't have it because of all the deals that they made previous. They were in cap. They were in draft hell for a while.
Nooms thinks AJ needs to lose a little of his lat bulk. Sure, maybe, but AJ Brown and Justin Jefferson are 2 different types of wide receivers. Yeah, but both polarizing, both guys who could be game changers. I think is the where the comparison comes in. Well, Denver overpaying for Waddle just up the ante for Brown and the Jefferson.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. I don't. Yeah. But think about it for a second. I think for New England to get him, they're going to have to give up more than what Waddle was given up for. So they're going to have to throw in maybe another third round. Maybe, if it's a 1st and a 3rd for this year, they may have to throw in a 2nd for next year. Somewhere down the line.
Getting a 1st and a 3rd for AJ Brown's enough.
No, it's not enough. No.
I don't know. I'm going to disagree a little bit, and I'll tell you why. Unless you get a 1st and a late listen, this is all coming in 2027. If this is all post June 1st, it's all coming in 2027. So it wouldn't be this draft anyway, which I think is kind of a little better in some ways because next year you got to pay some guys. You got Quinyon, you got to worry about, and you got DeJean. I keep saying DeJean to get paid. So you got a lot of things to worry about that, but whatever. So even if it is next year, right? And if you get it, the reason is if you get it from the Pats or if you get it from the Rams, 2 teams that most likely will be in the mix again this year, they're going to be high 1st round picks, right? So they're almost kind of like early 2nd round picks if you want to really slice it a little bit.
You really think they're going to be? You really think they're going to be? I don't think so. I think they're going to have they got a tough schedule.
I think New England's going to have a little bit of a wake up call. It's not going to be as a smooth transition as it was this year because they had a very favorable for their situation.
And they lost some pieces. They lost some pieces up there too.
That's the other thing. How does a team respond to success? Because it wasn't the total success, but they still were they went from a 0 to 60 type team, maybe a 0 to 59. You know what I mean? Because they did trip at the finish line. But I'm just saying the reason I don't think that's off the beaten path is he's older. He has a decent contract, a good contract for a guy of his caliber. But
all I know is I don't want Mike Kaepernick in charge of my team because if he feels like he can't get a 1st and a 3rd for AJ Brown, then I don't want Mike being in charge of my team because he'll give them away. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Nooms is saying it doesn't matter. The milk is sour. I don't think the milk is sour between the 2 is what I was trying to say, Nooms. I just think the milk was maybe warm and they got a better fridge for Vrabel and and AJ Brown moved to a better fridge already. So I don't want to go through the analogy, but you know what I mean?
Yes, Shaq.
So according to Mike Lauro, they are shopping him. And they have, I mean.
Yeah, he's requested a trade. I mean, I saw it on Twitter. Yeah, Adam Schefter put it out there that he requested a trade. So, and that was about a week ago. So I'm surprised more people haven't talked about this, especially like with the Rams. Rams looking to upgrade because believe it or not, if the trade went down, the Eagles were getting Devontae Adams back. It was going to be they wanted Puka, but the Rams offered Devontae Adams. And so, let me ask you a question: would you have done that deal? To bring Devontae Adams here?
I wouldn't hate it. It'd be a great if you're getting rid of AJ Brown and you're going to get a 1st round pick, but you also don't have to worry about using any of those picks to get another wide receiver this year. That to me is a good move.
Yeah, I think everybody's waiting on the kid Smith for next year. Kid out of Ohio State. That's who a lot of Eagle fans want. Was Jeremiah Smith, I think his name is. He's the wideout from Ohio State. That's who a lot of people are looking. They want the Eagles to get that. You know that they want him to be the replacement for AJ Brown.
Yeah, Shaq. I don't disagree with you. He's not sour. I think what Nunes is trying to say that the between him and Vrabel maybe it kind of soured and you can't get it unsoured or whatever. But I think that's kind of misunderstood a little bit. I don't think that's the problem. I think Vrabel was a refrigerator that didn't keep him cold, and I think AJ Brown moved to a refrigerator that made him cold again. And then putting the two together is not going to be a bad idea. I think it would. I think that's who he knew first. That's. I think they have a good rapport. I don't think there's a problem. And if you remember when we traded AJ Brown, Mike Vrabel was visually pissed off, and then he left. He was gone.
He got fired.
Yeah, he was fired for that. So he probably went and pounded his fist like, what are you, stupid?
Well, no, the GM got fired first. The GM got fired first. They threw his ass out.
Well, he already screwed it up, so they're like, well, we might as well just restart. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off totally, and that's what happened. Mike saying, also remember the pick that Miami received for Waddle or all this year's picks. Again, if the Eagles only get the first and the third for Brown, not good in my eyes.
Yeah, but they're all second-round picks. You got to remember, dude, Denver went to the AFC title game. So what are they picking? What, 20 was it?
And this year's draft isn't really high on offensive linemen, by the way. And here's my thing is, not to get off, me, I always have to talk about my offensive linemen. I want to slide them in somehow. I just can't help myself. But I don't think they find the Lane Johnson of the future. I mean, even the experts out there like Brian Baldinger say there is good talent in this draft, but there's no Lane Johnsons coming up in this draft. So here's my thing is I think if Lane's playing this year, they're going to find a second or third rounder who is a kind of utility lineman, maybe a guard who's played center. So you can back up if
well, they have that. They have that already on there.
I think they're going to try to find another one
because they got Drew Kendall. They're also going to get back to Kid Hinton. He was hurt last year with his back, but he's supposed to be recovered. Look out for him. He's 6'7", 320 pounds. Played right tackle. I watched that dude at Michigan. I'm telling you, the Eagles got some guys. Think about this for a second, man. They let guys like Brett Toth go this year off of the offensive line. And Brett Toth kind of filled in everywhere. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think they're going to go after the kid Proctor from Alabama. Even though my latest mock, my first, they still had Sadiq getting picked by the Eagles, and Sadiq was 13th or something in the draft, but somehow he still fell to the Eagles. I don't know how, but I took Caden Proctor. I think Caden Proctor from Alabama, I think is going to be really, really good. You can move him in a guard and then eventually kind of move him out to tackle after Mailata decides his days are done. Because we know already that, what's his face? Dickerson's only sticking around a couple more years.
Gotcha. So I see. I'm laughing because I see Nooms' comment, kind of like the whole milk thing, kind of spun out of control. Can I cut through a couple of these because we got a handful?
Come on, man, let's go.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think Devontae is a kind of wide receiver that can easily take out the playoff game without another wide receiver in the game. Well, I think you need two. You need somebody who could be dangerous, and even three, not a good three. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying that's not true, but I'm not saying that he can't be the number one. Is my other point. We're all talking trading Justin Jefferson. The Eagles still have to pay Jalen Carter, 100%, Mike. That's and like I said, Q and Coop is also another payment we have the coming years. So you always have to kind of play ahead. That's what Howie does. AJ Brown and Milk. It's a combo of him and Vrabel. That is okay. Yes, I think that's what we were figured out. Carter, Quignon, and DeJean all have to get paid, which I think at least two of the three is. I mean, Carter to me is not 100%. Yes. Reread the comment I sent. I said the Eagles were the only to get a third. It was a pick for one and a first and a third pick.
Gotcha.
I agree. Okay.
I thought he was saying first and a third was a joke. That's why I was like,
I would love Jeremiah Smith, but unfortunately he's going back.
I don't think so. I don't think so because this draft lacks running backs. It lacks linebackers, it lacks defensive line, which in college football, this upcoming class next year is supposed to have all that, and also offensive linemen. So no, I don't. I can see Jeremiah Smith dropping down.
Yeah.
So
actually, what I'm trying to do too, I'm gonna let the cat back. I haven't told Mike yet. I'm gonna pull a pad here. I'm looking for April 5th ish. I'm talking to somebody who is a very much, he interviews all these guys. He's a draft expert to maybe come on a Sunday morning if he is available. And we're going to just talk all draft, what we can see, first few rounds of the Eagles, if they take like top positions that could be reasonable for the Eagles to take. I don't want to do it just yet because with the Phillies starting next week, it's going to be a lot of Phillies heavy conversation. So I'm thinking not next Sunday, but the following Sunday to bring on a guest, and we're going to be all draft heavy. So it's going to be a lot of stuff going on.
Yes, I can't wait for the draft, dude. We still on for that?
We mean watching the draft again live?
Yeah.
Why the hell not? I love watching the draft live. I just hang out with you and watch the draft anyway. So at this point, we might as well just like hang out and watch it together.
Yeah, I love it, man. Like to me, I'm that nerdy dude. I watch day 3 because I want to see who's getting. I watch day 3. Like I'll put it on my computer, like, and I'll just let it go. And I'm like, hell with it, man. Like I want to watch it. You might as well.
I'm gonna be smoking meats in day 3, watching it. Like Mike I didn't even tell him this much. I'm thinking about day 3. Putting the TV outside if it's nice weather out, because I'm imagining it should, as long as the weather holds up. Put the TV outside, throw some brisket on the smoker, and just hang out, watch it all day, because it's going to take that all day to watch it, and just
the cool thing is day 3 Saturday. So that's the best. So you still have all day Sunday to relax and kind of go over the draft. So
it's done by like what, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock or something like that.
Not even, dude. It's like every 10. It's like every 5 minutes. There's somebody coming up there.
It's actually fun to watch. And actually, you forget, we've had some trades made, like, not the toppest tier players, but we got some running backs. I think who was the guy we got from the Lions? Didn't we trade him day 3? The running back. The hell was
DeAndre
Swift, yeah. We got from Lions. That was day 3, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
The edge from Auburn's great. Yeah, there's a lot of good edges out there. And that could be I really think that's where they go round 1 is edge. I know a lot of people are looking at safeties. I know the tight end has been a conversation, but just remember there was no starting safety opposite of Makuba.
Marcus Epps is back.
Yeah, and they just signed somebody else too.
Yeah, the other guy from he's more of a special teams guy. The second guy they signed.
But might I add, Zach Baun was just a special teamer guy at one point too.
Yeah.
So this is why like losing like Vic Fangio can be just as big as like when I freaked out about losing Jeff Stoutland. Like he really does turn guys, and he has recreated careers for guys. Like Zach Baun was a journeyman at best. Might I add. So Epps or whatever safety signed or drafted will start next to Makuba.
Yeah, I think so.
At this point, I want to see you guys. I want to see you guys do it. I would love to tune in and watch.
I think you would say. I think you said live.
Yeah, I know. I would do it live. You don't want to see that. Trust me, you.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah, my wife doesn't want to see that. I don't want to do that. I'm just kidding. That's why we turn the lights off. But my point is, yes. Now, listen, and in no way am I a draft expert. I can always say that. What I do is this is where the last week I start watching a lot of stuff. Like I spend like an hour, like instead of watching a TV show, because all my TV shows are starting up now. I don't watch sitcoms and shit like that anymore. All my TV shows are starting up now. They're all nerdy. I know, it's shock and all, but but I can watch them when I want. So at night, like I'll spend an hour just like I'll pick a position. I'll go through who's out there. Mike watches way more college football than I do. I just don't have the time. I don't know how you do it, Mike. You amaze me. The only way I could watch it is if I was like rewatching something later at night. Thank God for the speed run games. That's what I've watched a lot over this year.
Dude, no. Listen, from August and last Saturday in August until the national championship game, my wife will tell you, I will literally look at her and go, "Hon, I love you," and she'll look and go, "Oh yeah, it's football season. Okay, Saturday, Sundays will not. What'd she say? Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, some Fridays, and occasional Tuesday or Wednesday. I will not bother you." So like, it's great because I literally sit here all day long, and the thing about it now is with like certain apps that you have, like if you have ESPN or CBS Sportsline, you can literally go on there and like, I watched a Villanova game this year. Just sat back and watched it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh God! Look who's in the comments now.
I know. We're gonna get. I feel like it's my fault. I Beetlejuiced him.
You did.
He really is a lot like Jalen Phillips. Yeah, and that's my thing is that I'm not sitting here saying that every year we're going to bring in some guy off the heap and turn him into the next Jalen Phillips or turn him into the next Zach Bond, but it's been happening every year so far since Vic Fangio's been here. He's brought in a guy that has been a relatively unknown or special teamer guy, and he has got a bag. I mean, Jalen Phillips was way overpaid. I'm going to say it out loud. If Jalen Phillips was on the screen next to me and not Mike Lauro, I would say this out loud. Jalen Phillips, you got well overpaid because you're based off of 3/4 of a year. Like, literally, that's what you got. You know what I mean? Like, you got paid on that because you weren't playing that well. And don't forget, he was playing that well with guys like, Carter and Davis on the line with him. So, like, can he do that in Carolina? I'm going to tell you no. He got overpaid. But good for him. He went and got his bag. But is it crazy to believe that we don't have another – who's this year? We should do that, like, when we do the discussion. Like, who's this year's Vic Fangio glow-up? That's what I'm going to call it. Glow-up.
Jalen Hunt.
But he was drafted. Like, that's my thing.
Are you talking about somebody
brought in that was a relatively unknown guy that and I call it a glow-up because they take – it's like what's those makeover shows, right?
Well, you know what? We should do that around we should do that around training camp because then they'll have the team in.
I would bring Matty B in on that one. I would love to see his glow up. Yeah. There's going to be a segment coming sometime after the draft called the Vic Fangio glow up prediction show. Okay, we're going to see who he does.
I got a quick question for you before we get over to Nooms' next comment. Do you think that Jim Schwartz, him not taking a year off, do you think maybe Howie got him kind of like, hey, be on standby in case Vic decides to retire, we can bring you in here?
I don't think it's on case. I think they'd be like, listen, they have to make a decision. Are they gonna move up like a Clint Hurt type guy, or are they gonna bring in a guy? I
wouldn't be against that either because Clint Hurt actually coached the Legion of Boom, so I wouldn't be against that, and I think that dude's probably earned a shot too. But
listen, there's plenty of guys that earn shots. Christian Parker earned his shot. Now, unfortunately, his shot is with the Cowboys, and he's dead to me now. Sorry, Christian Parker, but you're dead to me now. Like, that's just how it works.
Denard Wilson too, the same thing, man.
Yeah, but my point is, doesn't always mean it works out that way too. At least Jim Schwartz has done it. Like, do you go more that guy who's done it before? He's literally brought you a Super Bowl before. He was brought. Listen, I always have to remind people the Jim Schwartz story. Jim Schwartz was already promised that by the Eagles and Howie. They brought him in before they brought Doug Peterson in. Remember this.
Yeah,
Jim Schwartz was hired before Doug Peterson. You hired your defensive coordinator before you hired your head coach. That's something that often happens in the NFL. And then on top of it, you won a Super Bowl with that. They literally said, we're taking a shot with this guy who's done really not a lot. He's never a head coach. He's really not done much in the NFL at this point, outside of having a mediocre quarterback career. We're giving him a shot. He's worked with Andy. You're coming in. If we have to break in case of glass, you're our guy. You're going to become the head coach. Well, they didn't see it coming either. Year two, you won a Super Bowl with the man. Doug Peterson is the guy, if you don't know what I'm talking about. So, like, I think they've already done this with Jim Schwartz. It'd be hilarious. I'm just saying, it would be hilarious if they did that. Nicky Sirianni goes, but Sean Mannion actually gets to stay and becomes the new HC, and now he's still stuck here, not becoming the HC. I mean, I think Jim Schwartz will have to just be like, I'm done with you, Howie Roseman. Your empty promises are no longer in my book.
Yeah.
The problem now is you can really draft defense if you don't know who is running the show next year. Can you really? Yes, I think so. I mean, listen, there isn't guys that are like, oh, these are scheme good. These guys are only good in this scheme in the draft. I think guys are a little bit more raw, or you can mold them. Yes, I think you can. You find another Jordan Davis. I don't care what team you put him on. He's going to be good. You find another good edge rusher, you put him on a team, it's going to be good. Now, listen, when you look for an edge rusher in the Vic Fangio system, you look for somebody who can drop back in coverage a little bit, right? I get that. That might be the only thing that you look against. But if you get Max Crosby, who's not going to maybe drop back in coverage, but he's going to be a wrecking machine on the edge, you don't give a shit who the person is on calling the plays at that point.
Right, exactly.
Speaking of the here's your
Pat, what is going on? The gobbler checking in.
As Mrs. Bernard said 40 some years ago, here comes Pat Bernard.
Pat, if you guys don't know, was doing the show live this morning on his TikTok, which I checked into. I actually commented on Pat's show.
I knew him. You ask and you shall receive.
Steve, yeah.
Sal had to retire a little early. He's taking care of some stuff at home and all that stuff.
We miss you, Sal.
Yeah, I would love to have Sal back for a week, just for a show a week, just to do the Phillies post game. That would be fun. I miss Sal. I mean, I get to see Sal now and then because he's a friend. But
I haven't seen Sal. Hold on, we missed this, Pat. You put up. This is something it's not shocking to us. You probably do that with 2 hot dogs in each hand.
But nobody made hot dogs that night.
Exactly.
Zach Baum was a special teams player who we all struck gold with. So we're putting with this guy who played special teams and Epson should be starting next to Makuba is not good. All I'm hearing is ifs at safety. I am that Mike, you're taking me literally here. But there is every year since we have Vic Fangio, there has been a guy brought in who was kind of a scrap heap guy, a kind of a special teamers is what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's going to be the guy. I'm not going to say that's going to happen again. I'm just saying it could happen again, but I'm not even sure if they're done yet. They might go get a safety in the draft. Howie has made some of his CJ GJ didn't come until August. Like there is guys who, I'm not done with it yet, but as of right now, this team isn't done and this is where they're at,
Listen, I love the re-signing of Mike Epps of Epps. I thought he had Marcus Epps. I thought he played okay last year. He got banged up, but the time he was in there, I thought he played very well for the Eagles. I didn't see him getting burnt a whole hell of a lot last year. So I'm glad that they re-signed him. Now, this other guy, I'm going to have to wait and see with him, but I don't feel like they're on no man's land because you do have a safety valve in Cooper DeJean. You can slide Cooper back to play safety, okay? Or if you don't want to move Cooper back, you have Michael Carter that you can slide in. Michael Carter has played safety. So there are options there. And yes, I'm very high on Makuba. I think he can have a very good bounce back year. But as far as everything else, I mean, I want to wait and see who they draft. It's all predicated now on who they draft.
Absolutely. Will Dory Jackson and Ringo and other DBs this past season didn't work as number 2 DB, didn't work in Fangio's defense. Mike, I get what you're saying. I know you're trying to put a hole in what I'm talking about. I'm not saying I'm sitting here waiting and waiting for the Vic Fangio ferry to come down and make everything better. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, would it be crazy if it happened? No, because it's happened every year. They're not done building this team. That's the one thing it's like looking at a frame of a house, and the construction's still going on and judging if the house is going to be good or not. You can't. We're not there yet. The frame isn't even halfway built, right? I think we barely got the frame together. Maybe that's about it. They haven't put any of the inner workings in yet. So that's what I'm saying. Let's just be patient before we start, doing anything else. Who was Vic Fangio's guy on defense this past season who stood out and was a glowing star in Fangio's eyes?
Jalen Hunt.
But I'm saying if you're pulling a guy in off the streets, that's Jalen Phillips. He wasn't doing anything with the.
He had one sack. One sack.
Miami threw him away. They're like, we'll take a pick. We'll get something for him. Now the guy just signed a bag with the Panthers. Do we not remember that? Also, who can coach on the Eagles trust Sirianni this upcoming season after the way he went behind Stout's back and changing some of the running plays? I'm not disagreeing with you, and that's why Stout's not here. So notice they have a whole new offensive coordinator, a whole new offensive team. So these guys haven't been burnt by Nick yet. So maybe
I'm sorry. I got to fight back on this. Am I missing something? Was Jeff Stoutland the head coach of this team? No, he wasn't. He was the run game coordinator, offensive line coach.
He should have been.
He answers to Nick Sirianni. So if Sirianni wants to change something, he has every right to do so.
Listen, we all answer to a boss.
Yeah, but am I?
There's got to be a respect factor. There's got to be a respect. That was where I think the problem came in. But
listen, I'm not talking about how he went and did it, but like people are all, how dare he change the run? Like the running game was so great this year. I'm sorry, did I miss something? Because I saw a lackluster line play this year. I saw.
All right, now this is where I
no. There was lackluster. It was lackluster line play this year. They weren't mauling. Okay, they didn't use the fullback like they said they were going to do. Van Summering gets hurt again. Then every now and then you saw them using what's his name, Latu, bringing him in. So no, they weren't opening up enough holes for Saquon to run. Saquon also looked slow, and I'll tell you right now, the best running back they had on the team last year was Tank Bigsby that they traded for. He was their best. Him and Shipley. Shipley wasn't bad either.
That's my point. Let me tell you this much. Yes, was it the best Jeff Stalin year? No, but in all the years, Jeff Stalin's had success, even when his team wasn't that good, with a bunch of guys. Like, remember, Jason Kelsey was a 6th-round pick. He was almost let go. What's his name? Lane Johnson never really played right guard much. He pretty much said if it wasn't for Jeff Stalin, I wouldn't be able to play at the level I play at. He took a complete unknown in Jordan Mailata. Yeah, let's forget about that. But my point is, yes, everybody keeps throwing last year at the Jeff Stalin scenario, and I didn't want to get into this, but I'm going to get into it. Jeff Stalin had not his greatest year, but at the same time, Jeff Stalin had little to work with. He had oft-injured guys. So, yes, he didn't have to.
Spoken like a true lineman. Like a true lineman.
So, listen, you're going to tell me in 15 years, I think it was 15 years of Jeff Stalin, right? One bad year, you're ready to throw it away?
No, but what I'm saying is.
Rose should be gone. Jalen Hurts should be gone. Everybody should be gone because you had one bad year.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there is a chain of command. Okay, and like I don't listen. Sometimes my boss will tell me to go do something that I don't want to do. Okay, and I'll look and go, okay. And trust me, I work. Listen, I work for the state. You want to talk about lack of communication? There's none there. There's none there. Okay, so listen, I get the whole.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. If you had a guy who didn't communicate something to you, a boss, say, even a boss. Mm-hmm. You didn't get you work for the state. If you had a boss who did not communicate something to you, can you set a grievance?
No.
You can't have a grievance because they screwed up.
No. Right. If it's not a safety issue or anything like that, it's just they'll look and go, "Oh, well, sorry, we didn't tell you."
Here's my thing.
It's the biggest running joke.
He's more tenured than any of the other people on that coaching
staff. But he's
staff.
not the guy. But he's not the guy, Al.
But he was the guy. He was the guy that kept these guys in playoff.
He's not the main guy. He's not the main guy. Like, I'm sorry, you got to be. He's got somebody to answer to.
He does have somebody to answer to, but that's my point. Is even you have people to answer to. But if your boss came out and just completely disrespected you, would you sit there and allow it to happen? Especially if you've been.
No, listen. I'm not saying. I'm not saying how he went about it. How he went about it was shady. Like Nick could have did a better job. I'm not questioning that. But to get listen. People got to put it in perspective of what Stalin was. Stalin was an offensive line coach, and he's a great one. He's probably the best one that we've had here since Howard Mudd was here.
And could be the major difference between the Eagles' success and no success this year, might I add. But keep going.
Really? I mean, that's
if the offensive line doesn't perform, you got a guy who really has very little. He's been a mediocre offensive line coach at best. And that's me giving him an at best.
He was in Minnesota. Like Minnesota doesn't. They don't have good players. I mean, look at our offensive line. We got four Pro Bowlers on that line with Mailata,
because
Johnson.
They were built by him and picked by him. You're telling me he has no say in the offensive when they're picking offensive line? You don't think they're going to Jeff? We're looking. This is our board of offensive linemen. What do you think? You don't think he's part of that? You're telling me that Jordan Mailata could have went anywhere else and been Jordan Mailata? Because I think that's BS too. Just because he's a big physical specimen. Again, I'm going to point out what Nooms put here right quick. It's the point was not communicated is the move itself. Right. And then Mikey P here. Sirianni can change anything he wants. no disagreeing with that. I said Sirianni, not Siri phone. Shut up. Uh, it's how he went about not letting Stout know that he was doing it.
I agree.
I getting better with Sirianni was changing some of the run plan.
And guess what? I agreed with you. The way he went about it was wrong, but the way you guys are talking about this, you're acting like, like Stoutland had more say. That Stoutland had more say than Sirianni, and that's not the case. That's his boss. That's who he has to answer to. Now, again, could have been handled differently.
We just got hijacked. Did you see that?
I know. Yeah,
we got hijacked.
Did you see? He was looked like his coffin was upright.
Our Nick Sirianni just came in my live feed with my partner, not part of the feed, and he changed the graphic on us without letting me know. That is what exactly happened. Thank you, Matty B, for proving my point. You just proved my point. And guess what?
I don't know, man. We're gonna
and I'm out of here. All right, brother.
Oh no. They did say like Stout's going to be around. Like he's still around the Eagles.
The only reason he's still around is because he's under contract, and they don't want to not pay him to go somewhere else and make another team good. That's why.
So hold on, who then? He's got it made. Think about this.
They didn't want Jeff to leave. This was the way of appeasing Jeff and keeping him in the organization without leaving. So maybe he'll be more part of the drafting part and all that, and but. Or maybe he's a break in case of mercy. They could beg him, give him some more money, toss the other guy, and bring him back in. I don't know what the point is, but that's what's going on right now.
Hey, look, we can argue about this Eagle stuff all we want.
I know. You got me. Look at me. I'm turning red, man. You got the blood boy.
It's great.
That's by Jeff Stoutland. It's Stoutland you. I want a T-shirt that says Stoutland you. I need one. Okay, look at. I still leave this. I still have this one ready to go. Unless Matty deleted it. Oh, here it is.
I was just about to click it up.
I stand with Stout. Me and Stout are together, man. Hand in hand.
Oh, man. Oh.
And then, real quick, before we end the show, because we always talk about what we're going to have today. But I wanted just to bring something up, a little different wrinkle into what we can eat, what's on the menu today. There's a couple new things on the menu at Citizens Bank Park starting this season, right? Like I told you earlier, they have their new hats, they do 8 different hats. The one thing I have to ask you, now maybe we'll save this for the next show. Or for later today's show, but they see the old City Connect hat in here.
Yeah.
Does that mean the City Connect jerseys are staying? We'll talk about that later.
I don't know, but guess what? Speaking of the City Connects, I actually have a concept jersey that I'm going to show everybody. It is the Daily News concept jersey, Phillies jersey, and it's amazing.
You got my interest piqued, but here is a new way to use one of those balls. This is called the Schwarbomb Sundae, right? It is literally vanilla ice cream with a strawberry, but by the way, a very underrated Uncrustable. The strawberry Uncrustable dipped in funnel cake batter, deep fried, thrown on top with fruity pebbles and strawberry icing. It should be called the Straw Bomb, but that's just me because a lot of strawberry in that. But I like to see, again, love strawberry milk. I think strawberry topping is very underrated. But this looks like diabetes in a bowl, but
it is.
I'm willing to chance it, Mike. Or would you try this new Schwarbomb
Yes,
Sundae?
I would definitely try that Sunday. My wife
might try to make it at home.
Yeah, my wife will probably end up taking me to the ER after I'm done eating it, but I will definitely try. If I'm going to go, I'm going with a smile.
We'll hit the last couple comments, and we're going to close it up. The HC is supposed to set the example for the team going behind Stout's back. Set no example. Oh wait, does Sirianni is his snake in? Does it mean Sirianni's a snake in the grass? It was a little snaky in the grass because, again, I think it was more or less because of Stout's clout. If it was any other offensive or coordinator, probably could get away with it a little bit better. Nobody would care as much. But it's the clout that Stout has, and I didn't mean to rhyme. It just happened. Sellen's going to be a scout for the Eagles. They got rid of Harry the Cage. Yes, they did. We might bring that up on the next show, so keep that for later today. Got to leave you guys in suspense of something. We can't give you all the
exactly
right now. Give you something to wait for. Give you a reason to tune in at 5:00 this afternoon.
Plus, you get to hear us yell at Matty B.
Yeah. I'll change the graphics on that man. He just literally he was breaking my stones by putting up the graphic, the excuse emporium. Which is the same excuse that everybody uses to get rid of. He used to get rid of Howie Roseman, might I add. but he did exactly what Nick Sirianni did to Stout in the process. So it was kind of comical. He didn't even know what he was doing, but he ended up doing it anyway. The run game got no better under Sirianni. Absolutely. Mike, what are you having today?
That's a really good question. I haven't thought about what I was going to have today.
Yesterday was my daughter's birthday, so I kind of partied. So I kind of had to miss it. She's 25.
Happy birthday to your daughter.
Yeah, I'm a 25-year-old. I know. I'm an old man.
Dude, I got a 27-year-old and a 30-year-old. So yeah, I hear you. You ain't get that far yet, buddy. But I don't know. It's whatever the home foreman Jamie wants to make today. But Al, before we go, we got to give a shout out to the Flyers.
Oh, sure.
Shout out to the Flyers.
Making it exciting again. Always having to leave it to the last minute, Mike. I always feel like I'm doing it.
Listen, we get so caught up with the birds and everything else. But listen, right now, Flyers sitting in the standings right now. Let me bring up the current standings. Flyers are literally 4 points behind the Detroit Red Wings for the number 2 wild card. They are literally 5 points behind the Columbus Blue Jackets for 3rd in the Metropolitan Division, which, by the way, if you take a look at this upcoming schedule, which is right here. All right, there you go. Matty B will be on the call on Tuesday night. I will have you Thursday against Chicago. Matty is back with the first of 3 games against those Detroit Red Wings as the Flyers get ready to go to Detroit and take them on. Then the Flyers come back home on Sunday to take on those Dallas Stars. So, again, guys, they have a really good chance right there. Pittsburgh is at 86, so Pittsburgh's still 6 points up on the Flyers. Columbus is 5 points up on them. And then basically Detroit is the number 2 right now with 84 points. They lost to Boston last night. Boston is sitting at 86. Also at 86 points, the Montreal Canadiens. So the Flyers could actually end up, believe it or not, I was watching Frank Saravelli, and he literally said the Flyers could literally end up with mid-90s points, or they could end up with mid-90s points and not make the postseason. Like, how crazy would that be? So, Al, you ready to do this all over again later on, buddy?
Oh, I got a bone to pick.
Uh-oh.
I just got stouted. You know, he's gonna. I might not show up for the show now. I might have to. I might just go sit in the background. Just kidding. Let's see. Sixers show more character, albeit against lesser competition without other dudes in the lineup. Yeah, I just not sign on for the. I can't, dude. I can't sign on for the Sixers. They can go to playoffs or not. The run game's a lot, but we skipped over that. I'm having hot dogs and French fries, dude. That's not a bad idea. I actually wanted to. I have like a little mini hot dog roller. Like you put like 5 or 6 hot dogs.
I'm jealous. I want to get one. I want to get one of those like industrial size.
They have like a USB one you can really hook up to your computer. Yeah. It's like I can sit here. You can watch me. Hold on, guys.
Damn, Mike, you got me beat, buddy. Got me beat. I got 6.
I'm 57
I got old boys.
3 sons, 34, 31, 28, and 7 grandchildren. I haven't had the grandchildren yet. I have a little while for that, hopefully.
Thank God.
But I have 4 kids as well. But I have 3 boys as well and 1 daughter. I have my daughter is 25. My other son he's 24 or 23. And then I have a 17-year-old and a 10-year-old who Mike has met and knows how nuts they are. The 3 Red Wings and 1 CBJ game are huge. Yes, I forgot we had 3 against the Red Wings still.
Yes,
damn.
Yeah. I think it's 2 there, 1 here.
Hot streak away from major regular season, but this is what the Flyers have been doing every year. They either were like on a tear and then they just dropped off at the last 2 weeks, or they were kind of in a sludge and then they pick up and they just make it to the last second. Pat will be over Al for hot dogs. I said hot dogs.
You said hot dogs. Pat.
He's probably online trying to buy 2 USB hot dog rollers, not worrying about like maybe I'll get a better camera. No. I'm gonna get the hot dog roller first.
Yeah.
Mike, it's always a good show when you're around.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, that's my boy for over 30 years, man. Love that dude.
Well, why don't you take us away, Mike Ularo?
Well, guys, again, wait a minute, that way. Mr. Al Safari, I am Mike Laro, guys. Join us 5 o'clock today, along with Matty B, as we preview the Phillies, and we will see you guys then at 5 p.m. And we'll be joined by none other than Matty B. So again, for Al,
officially, when we asked him to, not behind our back, not calling a play without letting us know. That's how it's going to happen. Just so you know.
Boy,
the heat's coming at 5, bro. The heat is coming at 5.
This is going to be good. Again, for both of us, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Hopefully, we see you guys at 5 o'clock for this Phillies pre-season show as we give our thoughts. Until then, guys, again, he's Al. I'm Mike. We'll see you later.